Okay, my beauties, my peeps, my squad, what up? Welcome to what is the final Manistee Local podcast in the OG, the original podcasting studio. Wow, it's kind of surreal, you know? I'm a little sad, but I'm also super pumped and excited to get into the new spot, which today I'm going to start moving in. So, yep, this is the last podcast that I'm going to do here. So my goal is within the next week and a half or so, get everything over to the new space and get everything set up and get right into April's podcasts in the new place. So, yeah, cheers to that little green drink action. Heavy on the spinach this week. Heavy on the spinach. But you know what? It's good for you. It's super good for you. So yeah, so if you're watching this and you're like, hey man, it looks pretty fucking boring where you're at, and that's because everything's gone. Down to the table, down to the mics, down to the camera. That's it. Everything else is packed up, and we're moving today. We're going to start moving today. I've been a one-man show for the last, 2 months. And, yeah, it's almost over. Everything's out of the store. Cooler, gone. Shelving, gone. You know, I just got my shit, my stuff. And I was worried for a while that I was going to have to, house all of this stuff at my place, the Boudry estate. But the universe, right? Betsy kept saying, just wait. The right thing is going to come when you least expect it. She added pineapple. It's such a good little extra layer. You know what I'm saying? I kind of verbally committed. I think I've said this before on the pod. I verbally committed to like an office space, which, would have been fine if all I was doing was the podcast. But I did definitely want something bigger, that I could really kind of incorporate other things like Nomi Racing, for example. We really wanted a spot to kind of lay our hat, and we wanted to be downtown. And this new spot just kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm going to use it to highlight Nomi Racing and in the podcast. So we're going to, it's so rad. I'm going to do like a, here's the new place video thing, because I think people are really going to dig it. I love it. These people that are allowing me to, shout out to Steve and Maxine, they've been amazing. Again, they came out of nowhere and were like, hey, what about our spot? Kind of as a landing page for you. And I'm like, yes, definitely. Just going to use it for kind of like a warehouse space, but be doing the podcast in the back of it. So I'm pumped. Beautiful front windows. We're going to be able to put some really nice display pieces in there, beauty it up a little bit. I'm pumped for it. I'm really pumped. Staying on that line though, talk about Nomi Racing. The boys and I, my dogs, my homeboys, my business partners, Dylan and Zach, our company, Nomi Racing, won Emerging Business of the Year for Manistee County. What, dude? Yeah. 3 dudes that love Michelin Miller Lights down our gullet. 3 dudes that are like, hey, it'd be really cool if we formed a company that allowed us to do the things that we love and hang out and slam beers. How fun would that be? And now we're out here winning awards. We're knocking them down, folks. In all seriousness, we really do have a mission to give back, a mission to bring community together, a mission to highlight the trail systems here in Manistee through outdoor recreation. And we're excited and humbled to have won this award. So sky's the limit for us. I mean, seriously, we're focused on building and growing and connecting. And yeah, the next chapter is going to be amazing for us. I can feel it. You put that positivity out into the universe, and more times than not, the universe sprinkles a little extra back your way. So, yeah, we weren't expecting to be nominated. We weren't expecting to win. So very humbled. And grateful. Just really awesome. So thank you to everybody who voted for us. Appreciate it. So that's the deal. We're done with the podcast space here. Moving to the new one. It's going to look dope. The gentleman that purchased the property from me is doing some really cool things. He's moving along. It's looking like there's going to be some pretty decent development for the upstairs. And it seems that, he might be working a pretty decent angle to provide something really cool for the community downstairs. So we're excited for him and where that's going to go. Yeah. Oh, also, I've got a voicemail and text line that I just set up for Q&A. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to call 616-594-0173. And on that line, you can leave a voice message or you can send a text message. I think it'd be really rad if some people called in and left a voicemail for me. But text is fine. I've got a bunch of text messages I got to go through now since I just put this out the other day. But what I want to use this line for is if you've got questions for me, questions about the podcast, if you've got topics you want me to tackle, you can leave that in a voice message or shoot me a text on that line. And I'll read them on the podcast or listen to them on the podcast. Also, I'm going to use this as kind of a guest Q&A where I'll let you guys know ahead of time what guest I'm going to have on the podcast, kind of what we plan on talking about, and then I'll open it up to you guys to leave a message, question, or text in a question for that guest. And hopefully, time permitting, we can go over some of those with the guest and they can answer them. I think that'd be really fun. A little bit more interactive. It gets you more involved, which I think is really cool. And it kind of opens up this newer angle for the podcast, especially local people. If I have somebody local on the podcast or close to the area that you might be familiar with and you might have questions for, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for the community to interact and actually become a part of the podcast. So, yeah, I think it's going to be mint. So that's 616-594-0173. 616-594-0173. Call the line. Give me a voice message or shoot me a text. I really appreciate it if you leave your name, just like your first name. That way I could say, hey, like Mark from Manistee says da-da-da-da-da. But you don't have to. So it would be nice. That way we could kind of, become a little bit closer audience, podcaster. You feel me? One of the things I'm thinking about doing is doing more of a outside of the podcast continuation of the story or prior to the podcast beginning of the story. So I'd be using my Instagram stories. Man, I tell you what, I got a hair on my lip that's like rubbing my nose and it's driving me fucking crazy. Ugh. And I'm going to pause live. One take, let's go. So what I mean by that is if there's like if there's somebody I'm having come on the podcast to talk about a particular topic, especially one that might be highlighted in the news, on the radio, maybe it's maybe something. How about Birdgate, for example? Right now we are there's an ordinance that says you can't feed animals, and that includes birds downtown. You just can't do that stuff downtown, and that means you can't have bird feeders, right? And right now there's like this ongoing saga with a business that has bird feeders out, refusing to take them down. And it's kind of like a us against them situation. I would be like telling that story and maybe have somebody that's within that story on the podcast. So utilizing my Instagram stories, maybe posting on there as kind of like, this is what's happening currently, and we're going to be having this individual on the podcast, and then kind of do like a story session after the podcast to kind of make it a little bit more, even more interactive. Doing the long form storytelling, post and pre and post podcast, and then also utilizing the call-in line for subscribers to interact with the podcast. I really think that would be really cool. So, hey, tell me what you think. Call in at 616-594-0173 and leave a message or shoot me a text message and tell me your thoughts. Do you have somebody that you think would be interesting enough to come on the podcast and talk with me for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Do you have comments or topics that you want me to just bring up on the podcast and try to talk through? In one of these solo podcasts that I do without a guest. Call in 616-594-0173. Yeah. I think it'd be fun. The whole Burkgate thing, though, dude, I wish I would have started this fucker like a month or so ago, because I know that there's a lot of you that listen and watch the podcast that aren't living in Manistee. And even some of you that live in Manistee don't understand the I try to use a politically correct term to tell you how ridiculous this situation is. Because I've had people DM me and they're like, dude, seriously, you're talking about fucking bird feeders? Yeah. Because it's literally affecting almost everybody downtown because of just a couple individuals that are being a little... Look, is it affecting me? I mean, a little, because I'm talking about it. But like mostly my friends in business downtown, it's like there's a person who is maybe being a little twatty, just a touch. And it's getting ridiculous. It's this like there is a rewiring issue going on in this person's dome, and I feel really sad for them. I really do, because there's other things that we should be concerning ourselves with other than like the feeding of birds that are shitting all over the sidewalk and cars and buildings and whatever. Not that it's negatively affected me in any way. But anyway, so that thing, right? Like if I could have started telling that story and then maybe got one of these individuals online, because I'm sure that if given the opportunity to speak on this, I mean, maybe we'd all change our tune. I doubt it, but maybe we would. Maybe we would. They might talk at city council again tonight, so that's been fire lately, so I'm going to go check it out. Maybe I'll add it to my Instagram stories. Who knows? Anyhow, I do have a pretty good list going of future podcast guests, so once I have that, I'm going to put it out, and hopefully if you've got questions for them or topics you want us to touch on, again, call in at 616-594-0173, and we'll get you heard. We'll get you out there. This morning, dropping off my daughter at school reaffirmed my desire to cull some motherfucking deer, okay? It reaffirmed my want, that flame that's just cooking inside of me. I am parked on a city street adjacent to the school, right? Like we are smack dab in the middle of the city of Manistee, and there was 30 deer 15 feet away from me in the front lawn of somebody's home, right across from the school. There are 200 cars lined up getting ready to drop kids off, because that's what we do today. We take our kids to school. They don't ride the bus. Why would they ride the bus? That's ridiculous. Why would they walk to school? Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. I mean, there was a shitload of deer in this front yard. And we're just watching them. My daughter's watching. Oh, look at the cute little deer. Yeah, look at the cute little deer. How many of those little assholes are going to run into a vehicle yet this year? Oh, my goodness. Walk my daughter across the street. Get her ready. Give her a little kissy kiss on the forehead. Wish her away. Have a great day, sweetheart. Get back in my truck. I literally drive 15 feet. And 7 of these pricks run right in front of my truck. Out from behind a big-ass line of bushes, right? Didn't see them. Pack on the brakes. Maybe the universe is saying, hey, take it easy, dude. We're just warning you. All right? I want to see SWAT-level helicopters flying over the city of Manistee. I want snipers. I want Marine snipers in the plank position. Rifles out. Scopes on. You could night vision. I don't give a fuck. I want it to happen on, like, I don't know, a Tuesday night. Wake up Wednesday morning and find out that, like, 1,000 deer were harvested. Right? You got to leave a couple alive. You shoot a shitload of them, but just leave a couple. Leave a couple, because 1,000 isn't enough. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's probably 10,000 fucking deer running around the city of Manistee. You shoot it, just an absolute shitload of them, but keep a couple alive. Keep a couple of the talkers alive. Let them run back to the herds, right? Let them say, they've lost their fucking minds. They went from feeding us, which I think is stupid. They went from feeding us to just straight up annihilation. We got to get out of here. We got to go back in the woods. We got to start foraging again. We got to start eating nuts off the ground. Whatever that fucking thing. Chestnuts. I don't know what they're. Acorns. We got to start eating acorns again, guys. We can't. No longer are we able to just get all this fresh corn and whatever the shit it is that these residents are feeding deer around here. Because it's gone. They've gone crazy. The Marines are here. We got to leave. That's what needs to happen. Shoot like 30% of them and let a couple of the shit talkers see it and go back to the herds. And then they're going to talk. Trust me. They're going to pack up the rest of their shit and they're going to move out of here. But we can't do it without the Marines, right? We can't do it without, straight up Navy SEAL level insertion. We need to call in the big guns, okay? There was a time where I thought, me and a couple of buddies could shoot a bunch of them. Yeah. We could probably get 10 or 15 of them in a night. But I think it's all out annihilation now. It's time for a Call of Duty level annihilation of these little pricks, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all these deer. I'm seeing them on US 31, all right? Behind China Buffet. We can't have that. Not a good look. You feel me? So, anyways, again, here I am again, jumping on the deer call bandwagon. Honestly, I don't know if there's much of a bandwagon. I think there's a bunch of people out there like, you can't kill the deer. Yeah, you can. Because we're the top of the food chain. And then what you do is you take all these little pricks that you shoot, like in the head, drop them, right? You harvest all that venison. freeze it and ship it away to like food pantries and stuff like that. It can be done. I think Ted Nugent does a bunch of that shit. Give it to him. He'll fucking take it for sure. In fact, here's what you do. You get your Wango Tango, baby. You bring in the Nuge. You put him with the Marines. Ted Nugent, fucking 12-star general. Put him in like the lead chopper, right? And he will guide the Marines. He'll be the spotter, right? We might accidentally kill them all. And then we have zero problem in the city. So, there's that. Wow. It must be the spinach. Anyways, guys, we did it. I don't know if I should keep going, but listen, do me a solid. Where's my little voice message line? Again, 616-594-0173. This is my last hitter, my last rant, my last podcast in this space. I want to do a quick shout out again to my boys, my dogs, Zach and Dylan. We did it. Let's keep moving forward. We're going to have an amazing running festival this year for Run the Pier. We are going to have an even better Rusty Fish gravel grinder than we've ever had. I'm excited for that. The sky is looking wide open. It's bright. So, yeah, moving to the new space. And we're going to keep going with the bird saga, checking in on that. Hopefully that comes to a nice little bookend soon. And then maybe I can convince City Council to approve Ted Nugent coming in here, leading the Marines to murder some fucking deer. How about that? You guys have a kick-ass day today. I love each and every one of you. This episode is brought to you by the Ramsdell Regional Center for the Arts. You can find them online at www.ramsdaletheater.org. Or you can reach them by phone at 231-398-9770. Our friends over at the Ramsdell Regional Center for the Arts want to let you know about something that's going down on March 9th. It's their Irish night, and the event kicks off with the spirited tunes of the Black House Monks, setting the perfect tone for a night filled with traditional medleys and contemporary twists. As the spotlight intensifies, the main act takes center stage with the renowned Kennedy's Kitchen. Known for their captivating performances and soul-stirring Irish repertoire, Kennedy's Kitchen promises to deliver an unforgettable experience for all music enthusiasts. The music starts at 6 p.m., so check the website for the ticketing information. That's www.ramsdaletheater.org.